everybody. It's chilly here in SFO. Hi,
It,
Mel. Mel's
uh,
here.
it is very cold here. Yesterday was 18. Today it is 25, and we have snow on the ground, but it's only like a half inch. Here, a half inch of snow is a joke. So
Right. Oh, you should see. It is really flooding in Saudi Arabia right now,
all over this
big
weather.
time.
Well,
And
maybe,
it's probably quarter of a mile visibility. It's so full, packed full of fog out here.
well, well, maybe it's God's way of saying we need to look up and look at climate change.
Yeah. So, but nobody's getting sick from the fog. Thank
That's
you guys for your questions.
yes. I like your little tree behind you. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, I got this from Balsam, Balsam. They do after Christmas, they do a discount thing. So I got this for a good price. Just a little something I can put up when I do my shows. It'll get packed up and put away. All my Christmas stuff is out because I have to wait till Jacob gets home the end of this week.
Isn't today Little Christmas the Feast of the Epiphany? I think it is.
I don't know what that is.
Some Orthodox religions have their Christmas on January the 6th. I think it's January.
Oh,
It's called the Feast of the Epiphany.
okay.
So anyway, the 12 days of Christmas, I think December 24th through whatever that is.
Right, right.
This is Little Christmas. I do.
Okay, honey. So you're doing okay though.
I'm good. I yesterday I had the day off and yesterday um I tried my hand at sourdough bread again. The first batch I made was incredible. Second batch had to throw out.
What
Yes,
happened?
I think the starter, you have to have the starter just right. And it was kind of dry and I put too much water in it. And yesterday's batch came out really good. Not as good as the first batch, but it was really fluffy. And when it came out of the oven, I cut a piece off the end. I couldn't wait. And I dipped it in olive oil with some olive stuff with blue cheese. Oh my God. It was,
Yeah, there's a restaurant out here in Benicia that has sourdough bread that's really good that you dip in the oil.
oh, it's delicious. I love sourdough. So I'm getting there. I'm learning how to make it.
Yeah, I would try, but nobody here in my house really eats bread. I throw out bread all the time.
The secret is the starter. You just gotta like to do it. It's a pain in the butt because you gotta feed the
Yeah.
starter, and there's the secret is in the starter. But anyway, can I do an infomercial real quick?
No, hell no. This is my channel.
All
Shoot.
right.
Who the hell you think you is? I'm just kidding. Go
I
ahead.
know, I know. I've got openings for my trip to Peru next September. Got to get them sold out, and I've got openings to my trip to Iceland. That's wide open in October the 1st of next year. They're both going to be incredible trips. So
Awesome. Awesome.
Iceland, I've never been. I'm excited. So
Oh, I bet you. Don't forget you were going to look into
the eclipse,
the
I'm still
eclipse.
looking into that for the following year.
Yeah.
And it would be good to go to the eclipse and do seminar maybe there or something.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it'd be
it be nice to
fun.
have like a gathering? Maybe we'll do that. Plan it for Iceland in 2026.
Yeah.
Huh?
So I've got a bunch of questions. You've got a bunch of
Got
questions.
a bunch of questions. So I'm going to explore Iceland. Thank you for reminding me. And I'll put Iceland 2026 eclipse. Let's just pray that the weather's nice. All right. I got it in my notes, so I'll take a look. All righty.
Okay. Now, you want me to ask first or you want to ask first?
You go ahead.
Apparently, 21 states have not yet sent their electoral vote certifications in yet. The law states they must be sent to Congress by January 3rd. What do your guides say?
They're going to certify the vote today.
I saw it too. I hate to tell you guys that, but I didn't see it stopping it.
I mean, I got a sick feeling. I think, that's a Hail Mary moment, and I wish that some way it could be stopped, but
Oh,
it's got to.
listen, he's stepping, it's like when I see Trump, it's when we saw him at that big event. I can't remember where he pushed people out of the way so he could stand in the front. That's what I see him doing, pushing laws and abilities out. And I never saw him taking the oath, but I probably am not because he's not a legitimate president. They lied and cheated.
They did. That's how he got in. And I think it's going to come out once again. Rachel Maddow is really going to be totally against him even more. You'll see. Liz Cheney. I mean, there's a lot that's going to be coming out. And
But here's the big news. And I had a dream, and I'm going to do another show talking about it. I saw a man, but I don't know if it was Jesus. He was wearing a linen long outfit. He kind of had that hippie look, but I can't tell you it was Jesus. In the dream, I didn't acknowledge him as Jesus. But this man laughed at me and he said, "Oh, you guys, don't even worry about it. Like, he's supposed to get in so his people find out who he really is."
well, I think with a lot of the stuff he's going to be trying, I still see Republicans in the Senate and with the new majority leader of the Senate coming in, and some Republicans in the House that are not going to go along with his agenda. You know, there were two or three Republicans in the House that didn't want Mike Johnson. I saw Mike Johnson um, being recertified or whatever it was.
Right.
Um, but one said he wanted Jim Jordan. I'm like, Mike Johnson is bad, but think of what the replacement could be if, But I still see the Democrats taking back over the House and the Senate.
And this guy isn't going to be able to move. But here's the other thing. Please let me mention what this energy forum told me. There's going to be so much Armageddon as far as weather's concerned. And these people just not even caring. That's what's really going to piss off.
This weather is going to get worse, and
It's
they're
going
going
to
to be
get
like,
worse.
oh, climate change, blah, 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 and not doing anything about it and continuing to rape the land. You're right about that.
Yeah.
I thought that
He's
for
going to
sure.
be hated. By the time they get rid of him, it's going to be like I prophesied back when he first got in, where I saw even the Republicans throwing tomatoes at him. It's like,
Well,
get him out of here. And by then, by the way, I don't see Elon around him.
the next 2 years we'll be doing a lot of YouTube. And I say 2 years because during that time, I see the Democrats taking back over the House and the Senate. But also, I don't see Trump finishing his full term in office. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
The other thing I want to touch on too is Trudeau in Canada.
He just stepped down.
He's stepping down. And I'm nervous that him stepping down could do the same thing to Canada that Biden stepping down did to this country. The same thing that can happen,
Let
uh,
me look real quick. Let's look.
the same thing can happen in Canada that happened here. And I'm nervous about that. So Canadians speak up and be careful.
Well, whoever takes over Canada is not going to let Trump make it a state.
No, that's not
No
going to
one
happen.
will allow that.
That's not going to happen. But I'm just talking about Canada itself because the conservatives are really gaining power there. And a lot of the ultra right wingers are
But I
getting.
see Trudeau is just tired.
Um, I think he was forced too because his popularity is decreasing. But what do you see for the outcome? I mean, I hope that Canada
Trudeau
doesn't.
steps down. Who
I
will
know
take his
that,
place?
but I hope that they don't have their version of a Donald Trump as their prime minister.
Well, are you hoping or are you psychically picking up?
I'm psychically picking up they have to be very, very careful
Yeah, there's a demon in the realm.
because they would get their version of a Donald Trump. And I'm hoping that they'll get a really, really good candidate. Um, I think Trudeau's Labor Party that could really be dynamic enough and forceful enough to win the election.
There's
But
love that wins. The outcome is love. But
oh,
there's a demon in the sidebars here.
they have to
And
be.
I think Elon's going to try to go in there, just like uh, Macron just announced he's trying to affect everybody's election.
Musk will step in, and so will Russia. And in Canada, though, it's going to be found out that the Russians have interfered. And I don't know if they can overturn their future election, but it'll come out before the election. So I'm just saying they have to be very careful because psychically I'm very nervous for Canada.
Well, yeah, and I can understand why, but the outcome is love overseas. So
Look, there's
whoever it is a good person.
there's a lot of payoff going on
Yeah.
Elon Musk trying to buy the election and all of that in Canada. Because Elon Musk wants to control the world.
Yeah.
But you're
And
right.
he's just using Trump as a patsy. He
Of
could care
course.
less about Trump.
I've been saying it for a long time. We all have. You have, I have. You know, when I say I feel, it means I predict, I see, I intuit.
Well, I understand your concern, but isn't that interesting? We never had a concern that Trump was going to win, but he didn't win. That's why we didn't have the
He,
concern
he
because
didn't
he
win.
cheated.
He did not win. And they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat in Canada too. Try to.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I just pray that the liberals in Canada get a candidate who's outspoken, who's dynamic, and who's charismatic. And I got a feeling they will.
Okay. Now, what message do you have?
Okay, the Blake 59 says, Love and light, Linda and Mel. Sterling mentioned he saw Kamala Harris eventually serving 2 terms as president. Do either of you foresee this as well? And if so, when may this come to fruition? Before 2028 or after? I just want to make a comment that, I watch Sterling. I totally watch your programs. I watch you and Sterling, but I really don't read on what other psychics say.
Yeah, you got to go with what's it. Neither
I,
does Sterling. He pretty much, when he gets a hit, he tells his hit.
right, right. So, I mean, I'm not going to read on what he predicted. So I guess the question she's asking is, do we see Kamala having 2 terms as president? Um, why she'd want to throw her hat back in the ring after this, I have no clue.
But she may stand up on the podium in 28.
Um, I see the Democrats coming up with a really, really, like I see for Canada, a really dynamic, charismatic figure for the Democratic Party, kind of like an Obama, that kind of a character, that kind of charisma, who can just hold an audience steadfast. And I see a candidate like that. I still see
You
Kamala.
don't think she was charismatic?
I do. I do think she was charismatic, but I'm talking about somebody more charismatic than her. I'm talking about somebody who's just very charismatic, and who's very firm. And she was firm, but I'm not making a comparative analysis. But I do see Kamala, um, you know, like maybe governor of California, or at some point I can even see her as like a secretary of state or something along those lines.
Okay.
Her political career is not over,
No.
and far
But
from.
Trump's going to be found out and people are going to be throwing tomatoes. And I don't think he'll live through, not maybe fit, not use the word live. Something's going to happen physically to him. I don't know if it's death, but I think it's maybe even illness where he can't keep going. And even if that other guy gets in, the vice president, I see nobody paying attention to him
He would be lame duck.
because that's when the new Congress comes in.
That's when the new Congress comes in, and then in 4 years, I'm seeing the Dems taking it over everything. So
Yeah, because he did such backstabbing ugliness.
it's
And
going to
I
get
don't think Putin will be around.
Putin won't. It's going to get really ugly, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Uh, really ugly. Um, but like Abraham Lincoln's spirit told me, our union will endure, our democracy will survive, and justice will prevail. And I believe that.
And like the gentleman last night that told me, who could be one of my guides. I've never seen their faces. I always see them as light. But he said his people need to see who he really is.
And they
And
will.
when their eyes are open, a lot of people, even the fire department, they were shocked that he said no more money to the 9/11. He's going to try to bust unions. He's going to do so much ugly that everybody's done with him.
He's going to break unions. He's going to not give money to Ukraine. He's going to bust teachers' unions. He's going to make everything, it's going to be, pardon my language, a real S show, if you know what I mean by that. So, all right, your turn.
Everybody's asking about the 21 states that haven't submitted their votes.
It's not going to make a difference. They're
I
going to,
don't know why. I'd still see them going through, like, I see him pushing through, like, yeah, whatever.
exactly. That's exactly what will happen.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, Carla Grantham says, Donald DJT is holding a rally on the 19th. Is he planning to storm the White House? No.
No,
Why would he have to?
no, he's trying to show off and he thinks he can outdo the other big event that's coming up where people are going to be on the grounds marching.
And then we're going to hear, I had the biggest inauguration since, it's always
Now, listen, this inauguration, I see nobody watching.
good.
I see the lowest rated inauguration ever.
I'm not going to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it.
Nope. Anyway, all right,
Okay. So, people are upset by this already, which I don't blame them. But listen, remember what was told to us. He has to show his ass. He has to show, even we know how ugly it is, but by him being in the forefront, hurting his own people, this is when people are done with him.
we're all upset by it. But, what can we do? The thing we can do is speak up and have our voices heard and say, we don't want to tolerate this. And the people in Canada need to speak up. And the people all over where this is happening
No
need to.
more.
No
It's
more.
so funny. It's like, remember when he bussed all those people to one of his events? Then didn't pay for buses to take them back. They were
Right.
out there in the dark, had no way home.
Yeah.
That's what his administration is going to do.
They must have been immigrants.
Um, okay, so will E. Jean Carroll finally get her settlement from Trump?
Ultimately,
When will
she'll
the mother-daughter election workers get their settlement from Giuliani?
ultimately she'll get it. I
Yeah.
always see her getting it. I think Trump tried to keep from having to pay, but a judge said he had to pay.
Yes, just recently.
And now that he's president, it can be delayed by 4 years because now he's president, he can get by with anything. So even if a judge holds him in contempt for not paying, but what a judge can do is freeze his assets if he doesn't pay. And that's
There
what
you go. I see Giuliani having to pay sooner than later.
my psychic light bulb just went on. Question, and I already know the answer to it. Will Trump pardon Giuliani?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That was a Mel question.
Okay. But also, do you see him? He filed a reprieve from being from seeing Judge Marchand this Friday. Will the reprieve be put on hold? Will this whole thing be put on hold?
I see I see Judge Marchand staying this. In other words, I don't know the correct legal jargon. He's not going to dismiss it. I could be wrong, but I predict, let me put it that way. Because when I say
He said there wasn't going to be any jail term.
right, we all said that. We didn't see
Yeah.
that. But when I say I see, I feel, it means I predict. I predict some way or another that Judge Marchand is just going to keep delaying this, or staying it until Trump is supposedly out of office, then bring it back up to light, um, back to the forefront. But the thing is, whenever I think of Trump, I see dark clouds all around him, and I'm having a hard time seeing a long life for him.
And
So,
I see a lot of people wanting to take him out.
right.
There'll be a lot of attempts.
So if he even lives long enough for them to be able to unstay the stay, in other words, but I just think it's more like the decision is stay. That means it's just put on hold for a while. It doesn't go
Okay.
away.
Okay.
Or I don't think he's going to dismiss it without prejudice. I think it'll be stayed.
Okay. Now,
Uh,
give me your,
I'm sorry.
give me your, give me your question.
Okay. Um, Well, we just answered this, but Beverly Raybon says, if there's an inauguration, how big do you think the crowd will be? You know how he is about crowds. Well, I don't think the crowd's going to be as big as what he says, and he'll probably bust people in for that too. Probably before he deports them, you know.
Yeah, and you know what? He doesn't have the crowd that he had before. He didn't win by no landslide.
He did not.
He didn't
He,
win.
he didn't. And we didn't win.
Um, will the new blood type discovered recently that has to do with antibodies be the key to finding some cures? I didn't realize. Did you know there was a new blood type?
I'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, we'll look it up, Nancy.
It could be a new antibody that they found. Um,
Um,
and so I do think with the research that's coming with, antibodies and monoclonal antibodies, and they've just found a new subparticle of RNA, that brings forth a lot of promise for research, like for cancer, for
right,
like MS, for like the autoimmune disorders, and I see tremendous progress being made with
right.
that.
Okay, you got a question?
Yes. Um, this is a good one, actually. Oh, this is from Vince Worm. Hi, Vince. How are
Hi,
you?
Vince.
Yeah, he attended our California
San
event.
Francisco.
Yep, I was trying to think of San Francisco. Hi, Vince. Um, how do you see the Russian-Ukrainian war playing out this year? Currently, Russia is out manpowering Ukraine, and their advances into Ukraine have been accelerating over the past few months. Well, the reason they've been accelerating is because Putin knew that Trump won, and he doesn't think Trump's going to do anything.
Yeah.
I think Trump's going to try to cut some BS deal to stop the
Well, he
war.
already said he talked to Putin and he would have this done in a day. And Putin told everybody, I never talked to him.
Right. And I don't think Zelensky would go along with it anyway. Part of that would be Russia keeping the territories they've already seized and keeping Crimea. And I don't think Zelensky's going to give up. I think that the Ukrainian
I think the
people,
Ukraine's not going to give up.
I'm sorry, the Ukrainian people won't give up.
Yeah,
And I think they're going to get a lot of support from uh, the European countries and a lot of support from NATO. United States might pull out of NATO, but it's not going to weaken NATO. It'll strengthen it. But they'll get a lot of support from the European Union. So, um,
I see NATO right up face to face with Putin, and
right,
Trump's got nothing to do with it.
correct. But I think the reason that Putin is making those advances is because he knew that the United States wouldn't do anything, and with as with Trump as president-elect, they've been talking behind the scenes. Don't kid yourself.
Right.
But Russia will make more advances, but I don't see Zelensky surrendering or giving up. I don't see the Ukrainians quitting right away.
I see them hanging in there.
They will.
Eventually, they will succeed because
Correct.
Putin's going to go down, by the way.
Uh,
Hi, Linda and Mel with some light seer says DJT health is failing. He's getting infusions being seen at Walter Reed. I'm wondering, does he have adult leukemia? My
who was
father died of adult leukemia, and the way DJT has been looking and acting lately, he reminded me of my father. And by the way, his hand is very bruised. Trump's hand is very bruised. Now, this is hearsay. I haven't heard this on the news or anything.
I haven't heard it yet. Um, I do think he's got some major health challenges, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I had put this on pause because my hauler was here to pick up some stuff. And I went ahead and turned on the TV real quick, and there's Kamala announcing that Trump had just gotten 312 electoral votes.
So
So just like we said a little earlier,
somebody had put here, Janet Perales said, I wish you all were on during the count. Well, we are, but it's just being
yeah,
recorded. I can't hardly watch. I know everyone said it would not happen. Thank you. I never said it wouldn't happen. I saw it happening.
yeah.
So,
I never saw him being inaugurated, but it's probably because I don't want to see him being inaugurated.
right. Right, exactly.
But I'll be honest with you, she won. She won, you guys. That's the bottom line. And that's why everybody's in an uproar because we know she won. There's all kinds of stuff coming out. Someone just sent me a link I'll post on my thing about details of the votes and how they managed to cheat.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Um, but there's a question here from Bonnie. She says, we keep hearing that something big is going to happen before the inauguration. Are you still feeling that something big will happen? Um, I intuit or I predict that something big will happen, but I see the inauguration taking place.
yeah. I just don't see anybody watching it.
Right. I'm not going to watch it. All right, your turn, Linda.
Okay. Will King Charles have any health improvements this year?
I don't see that.
Yeah.
In fact, and probably I see the number one. It could be one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. I see a new crowned head of the United Kingdom.
Wow. You
So
know who else is stepping down, if not passing, is the Pope.
I was just going to say that. Either you read my mind or I read yours. Also, see white smoke coming out of the Vatican
Yeah,
this year or beginning of next. So we're going to get a new pope who I think is going to be equally as good as Pope Francis and going to be a reformer of the church.
that's
And
great.
by the
And
way,
I also see, believe it or not, I keep seeing some news about Yoko Ono.
about who?
Yoko Ono.
Oh, okay.
That just flags in my face on and off, like Yoko Ono.
All right. Let me see. I'm getting back to my questions. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I think it's your turn. I just asked.
No, I just asked about King Charles.
Oh, okay. I got it. Um, NICMINX says an ex-Trump aide will be taking over a senior role at Meta. Will this mean that Facebook follows the extra to promoting MAGA and far-right propaganda? Thank you for all of your work. Um, I still see X going down the tubes. What is
I do too.
there's someone that replaced it. What's it called? A lot of people switched over to. I can't think of the name of
Blue
it.
Sky?
Yeah, that's it. I think that'll do well. I'm not going to go out and say anything bad about Facebook. It's just I see them changing their political bend, if there is a such thing. And it's very simple. If you don't like what they're doing, then don't use it. And if people
Yeah.
stop using it,
They take all your information.
they do. That's right. Uh, and if people stop using it, then nobody's watching. They don't have the popularity.
Hey, will Missouri have any terrible weather this year?
The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I think we're going to get hit here too with some really big storms.
We're going to have some major weather stuff that takes place all over the world. And it's going to be very hard for Trump to try to be king for a day when people are just worried about having a roof over their head.
Yeah, what's he going to do? Go to Puerto Rico and throw paper towels at everybody?
Okay.
Which is exactly probably what he would do again. And I think you're right. I mean, I predict as well that people are going to see right through how he deals with climate change and the economy and
Yeah,
all.
and must not want you to report anything bad about a car.
Oh, well, guess what? People are going to report it. Uh, and what's going to happen is a lot of those cars are going to start breaking down and they're going to pose safety risk. And he's going to get sued out the yin yang. And he's going to try not to be responsible for that, to pass some sort of legislation that, he doesn't have to be responsible. But when people start buying his cars, then guess what?
Yeah.
Uh, he'll run that into the ground too. So, okay, your turn.
Many people have been experiencing chronic insomnia these past few weeks. I've been hearing about this. Is this ascension symptoms?
No, it's chronic anxiety about what's going on.
Okay.
That's what I pick up anyway. Cheryl Renee says a lot of readers are saying about how important 2025 is and that the world will be stymied by a revelation that will shock them. When I heard that, all I could see was that ET show themselves, mankind will most likely ask them about religion, and ETs will answer truthfully. So could you please read on if the death of religion is on the horizon? At least it'd be a break from politics. Well, as much as I like, you know, I mean, I'm Catholic, not a very good one. I'm not much on organized religion. Why would ETs want to even come to this planet and see how crazy it is? I mean, if I were visiting a planet like this, I'd run the other way.
Yeah, the ETs are way beyond. We can't even, that Dr. Greer, and I like him, but I don't see them making themselves known. He said in 30 days and all this stuff's going to happen. I don't see it.
I don't either.
I see we will see more confirmation, something is out there, but I don't see them interrupting with man's free will.
I don't see that at all. So I don't know what the revelation is. I'm not picking up on it. I think the revelation is that we all have to is stand strong and firm and united to ensure that our democracy survives. And
Exactly.
and I'm assured by my guides that it will.
Here's a good question. Will Walmart reverse its decision to cut its diversity and equity program, especially since they are being boycotted? Especially since they are being boycotted, while other companies follow suit. I think one of the reasons they're doing this is because Trump's in office.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they think, yeah, we can do what we want. But I do, like right now, I'm coming out of Amazon. Ever
So
since I found out that guy gave money to Trump and he's, making all this money and he doesn't pay his people. Well, guess what? I can get it elsewhere, but I'm not going to Walmart either. I'll go to Target.
so they pulled out of doing any kind of equity and inclusion. Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Well, that's very simple. Then don't shop there. And when people
yeah.
start shopping,
Fortunately, there's no Walmart around me.
well, there's a bunch of them. There's one right by my office, but we don't.
Listen, when I go to Oklahoma, there's one on every block.
I don't shop there. So, um, I have the right to choose where I wish to shop.
Yeah,
And if they're not going to, have some sort of inclusion policy and acceptance policy, then I choose not to shop there.
yeah.
The same as I choose not to eat at a certain fast food restaurant, and I won't mention their name, but they like chicken. I'll say it like that and leave it at that.
Yeah, it's very sad.
It is sad. And if Amazon, follows that, then, I don't have to shop at Amazon, do I?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Uh, Chris Piazza says, "Hi Mel, thanks for so often taking my questions. I just take them in the order that they come. I posted this one on Linda's page as well. Will Trump declare martial law and suspend habeas corpus? He may use Lincoln doing this during the Civil War, but this is something dictators do to throw protesters and critics in jail. This threat could silence journalists and opposition even more than his threat of lawsuits already has. Also, will Trump go after YouTube critics, including the psychic community? Some are already moving their channels to Substack behind a payment firewall. Thanks so much. I'm wishing you both a happy new year."
He's not going to be able to reach his tentacles on everything. And
No.
let me tell you something else. He's going to piss off people enough, even his own people, that he's not going to be able to act like a Mussolini. He's just not going to be able to go there. He may try, but he's just not. And let me tell you something else. I watched a show the other day. I was talking about it with somebody. It was about the Weather Channel did a show on the Battle of the Bulge about how bad the weather was and how, they were losing and Eisenhower couldn't go in there to bomb the aerial. And these poor guys were losing. And at some point, the Nazis had 70 POWs and shot them all, killed them all, because they couldn't be bothered with them. And when word got out about that, the Americans went cray cray. The Americans fought like they've never fought before. And I said, that's America right there. Because just like when Japan bombed the Pearl Harbor, remember, no, we don't want to be involved. No, 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 leave the Jews out. We don't care. Just we don't want, we were cold, like Trump. And then when they bombed Pearl Harbor, are you kidding? I mean, people were signing, movie stars were signing up. My dad couldn't wait till he was 18.
My light bulb just went on.
What?
It's always on, but it really went bright. What you just said, something like that is going to happen in Ukraine. There's something the Russians are going to do, maybe killing innocent POWs or something. And the Ukrainians and the rest of the world, it's going to leak and they're going to fight like hell. And they're going to get a lot more people supporting them because something very much like that.
Right, right.
And the same here, he can try martial law, but you have to have a reason for it. Um, as far as YouTube is concerned, I think somebody who has one of the richest people in the world will try to buy it through backdoor channels, but will not succeed because
Yeah.
that same person is going to try to control all the media. So I don't think YouTube will crack down on the psychic community too bad. They'll, but there's other platforms.
Well, they don't think of us as important. It's like bah humbug. We're
Right.
nobodies. We're nothings.
For each one they crack down on, for each one that, some very rich person buys, there will be others that spring up
Yeah.
that will take their place. I don't mean other people that are rich, but I'm talking about other social media platforms that will give us all our voice. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's how
So, uh, Marie, she said, is it really going to get so bad that we need to stock up on things? And I've been telling people, get your extra, because I got a email from a subscriber that has a friend whose husband works for the longshoremen, and they're talking about a strike. But this is like a month strike, okay? So just get your little extras to make sure your toilet paper and everything. Um, but I do see a lack of ability to get certain items, and especially from overseas. So I'm just seeing, be sure to, I don't see people starving or any kind of like that. I just see, and the thing is, who are they going to blame when they can't get certain? They're going to blame Trump.
right. Well, Trump will blame everybody else.
Yeah,
But he can't blame the Democrats for long because, just like he blamed Obama for the first 2 years he was in office, but sooner or later, he had to face the piper. He had to pay
yeah.
the piper. And the same thing here. People are going to go, wait a minute here.
And
You're the
here's the other thing. He's going to be in a state of resistance. Everything he does is going to be challenged. I
absolute.
see court appeals. I see all kinds of stuff. A lot of the stuff he thinks he's going to do, he will be knocked down on it.
That's right.
And I see huge frustration that he can't move forward. This is part of the reason he goes down, is
The
he's
court,
just overwhelmed.
the courts are going to be so busy hearing all the crap that he's tried to put forth that's illegal. Oh my God, they're going to be swamped.
Yeah,
And
I see heroes out there, heroes, attorneys, judges that are heroes.
huge,
Yeah.
huge. People are going to stand up and stand united against him. This country's going to be very, very polarized.
But this is the final straw, you guys. Last time we put up with him, he lied and said he won and caused all that heartache. And as it is, he's probably going to give pardon to a lot of those people. But at the end of the day, there's going to be big stuff coming up. Let me tell you something else that I picked up too, even by some of the January 6th people. I see not necessarily intel, but some sort of operation of people taking out people, which is weird, but not Trumpsters, other people. Like even the CIA at some point in time may decide there's certain people that appear in present danger to clear and present danger to the United States of America. And I see taking out people.
But
Oh,
I'm telling you what else I saw as you were talking, my light bulb went on. there's some kind of huge cataclysm coming. It could be natural or weather related.
Definitely weather related.
And I mean, it's huge. It's just something that's never, I mean, at least in our lifetime has
It
never,
might be a volcano. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but that's going to unite. That's going to pull Americans together.
Yeah. We're going to go through some struggle, but Mr. Diaper Pants, he's just not going to be, he's yelling and screaming and no one's listening.
So here's the deal, folks. If things are too expensive at the grocery store, just don't buy that product.
Yeah.
Like I've started making my own bread, which was a chore, but I did it for fun. But
Yeah.
it's just flour, water, and you let it ferment, and you make sourdough. It takes a little getting used to. It takes a little experiment, but it's fun. So if you're going to make some kind of batter, learn to make batter without eggs. If eggs are too expensive, don't buy them.
Yeah.
Use something else.
Yeah. And everything that was made with eggs is going to go up in price, bakery
Well,
goods and stuff, which I'm glad because then I won't buy them.
but then what's going to happen is people are not going to buy eggs and they'll have to come back down in price.
They will.
Right.
They will. Trust me, they will.
All right.
Meat is going to go up really big too, you guys. So you know what? I ordered from Costco. I got a couple of big things of ground beef, believe it or not, and divided it up and froze it. So here and there, if we need a hamburger patty or something, it's there.
Look and see what people did during the Depression. I've been watching YouTube shows about it.
Well,
It's
my dad, like I said, he was just a little boy and he said his mom would make him flour and water and bake it. It was called tack bread.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
he said it was hard as a rock and you'd gnaw on it so you wouldn't be hungry. And he said if you were lucky, you had molasses to dip it in.
My mother grew up during the Depression.
Yeah.
All of her brothers and sisters did. Um, all right. Here we go. Irish Rookwood says, Highland and Mel. There's an organized women's march in DC set for January the 18th. You go,
That's
girls.
why Trump decided to do a thing on the 19th. Like,
Bingo.
watch my crowd be bigger than you crowd. It won't be bigger,
This crowd is going to be huge. Just like when Trump got empowered the first time, all those marches and protests, they were
which he
huge.
tried to totally ignore.
Exactly. It's going to be the same thing. If there's any violence, she said, do we see any problems or violence? If there's any violence, it's because Trump people have sent in agitators. But will it make a difference? Of course, us always having them hear our voices will make a difference. We might not get the exact results tomorrow at 2:30,
Right,
but if we keep saying it loud enough and hard enough, people will listen and it'll affect positive change.
right. And he will be in a state of resistance. People are going to work, and so much bad karma is coming at him. He won't know if he's coming or going.
Exactly.
So, did you feel that he was going to the military hospital because he's sick?
I do see illness around them. I've seen it
Yeah,
for a long time. My guides have shown me that dark clouds all around him, which means illness. Um, and it's affecting his head area. It's also going to affect the rest of his body.
yeah. Okay, 26 is going to be a lot better, you guys. Just know that. Just batten down the hatch, probably June on of this month. A little bit easier because Trump is losing, losing, losing. And then he may be exiting stage left. And
And,
I
e-
don't care if that other guy gets in, the couch guy, because he's a nothing burger. Nothing's going to happen with him.
and
And
even
then we'll take over the House. It'll be blue, and then we're going to have a Democratic president.
And even if we get inflation and all this, I still see, the latter part of this year, people are still going to travel, they're still going to do things, they're still going to get out and enjoy life. I refuse to allow Trump to cause me to cancel a trip or not to enjoy my life. That's giving them
Yeah,
way too much power. I won't give them that much power.
right, exactly.
So,
But there's going to be a lot of people really mad at him, so he needs to watch out.
oh, it's gonna be huge. So I think my message to everybody for the new year is don't let this rob you of your power. Keep your power.
Keep your power and
You
do
know,
what you have to do.
oh, do what you gotta do.
Oh, guess what the latest is?
What's that?
He wants everybody to know that he's going to allow children to work so children can start saving money. So you can work and you can take the jobs of the illegals he's going to exit. He's going to let the children do it.
Yeah, then exploit the children.
Right, but you know there's a lot of parents love their kids. They're not going to allow them out in that heat. Are you kidding me?
No way. No way. That's gonna last about as long as a snowball in Hades.
Okay. So listen, hon, we should get off because we do have another meeting coming up.
Yes, we do. All right,
Okay,
next week you're on my show.
I'm on your show.
All right.
All right, honey, you take care. Sorry, you guys, that he got certified, but we knew that when we came on. I
We know.
hate to have to tell you, especially since that man came to me last night. Okay, honey. Oh, no, that was a stripper. No, I'm talking about the dream.
Did you buck stuff them?
Yeah. All right, honey. Bye.